Hey everyone, welcome back to English with Cheri. I'm Cheri, and this is the podcast where we talk about everyday English in a way that's, well, real, relaxed, and actually useful for you.
And I'm Nick, Sherry's co host, and honestly, your biggest cheerleader if you're learning English right now. So glad you're here with us today.
So, today's episode, it's a really special one, I think. We're talking about something that so many learners feel, but not many people actually talk about openly. And the topic is feeling shy around native English speakers.
Yes, and if you just heard that and thought, oh, that's me, you are definitely not alone. That feeling of, your heart beating a little faster when someone speaks to you in English and you just freeze?
Right, totally. That feeling is so common. And this episode is really aimed at our A1 and A2 listeners. So if you're a beginner or sort of early intermediate, this one is for you. We're going to talk about why this happens, what the fears actually are, and, well, what you can actually do about it.
And we'll keep everything simple today, right? No complicated grammar, just real talk, the kind of conversation you'd have with a friend.
Exactly. Okay, so let's just dive in. Nick, I want to start with something a bit personal. Do you remember a time when you felt really nervous speaking another language, or even just speaking in front of people?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. So I studied a bit of Spanish a few years back, right? And I remember going to a restaurant and trying to order food in Spanish. And the waiter just looked at me and answered in English. And I felt so deflated, sort of embarrassed. I thought, okay, my Spanish is clearly not good enough. And after that, I just stopped trying in Spanish for a while, which looking back now was such a shame because I was actually doing okay. I just let that one moment get to me.
And I think that story is so relatable for a lot of our listeners. You know, many English learners feel that same thing. You try and something goes a little wrong, and suddenly you just don't want to try anymore. And that's what we're really digging into today.
Right. So, Sherry, why do you think this happens? Why do people feel so shy around native speakers specifically?
Well, I think there are a few reasons, actually. And the first one is really about the gap. You know, when you're talking with another learner, someone else who is also learning English, you both kind of understand each other's situation. There's no pressure. But when you talk to a native speaker, it can feel unequal, sort of like they know everything and you know very little. And another big reason is speed. Native speakers talk fast, sometimes really fast, and when you're still learning, your brain is working so hard just to understand what they're saying that by the time you want to reply, the moment has already kind of passed, and that feels awful.
Oh, I know that feeling, that delay. You're still processing the question and they're already moved on to something else. And you're just standing there going, wait, what did they say?
Yes, and there's also this idea of judgment, right? I think a lot of learners worry that if they make a mistake, the native speaker will think less of them, or find it funny, or be impatient, and that fear of judgment is really powerful.
It really is. And I want to say something to our listeners right now. Most native speakers, they are not judging you. Most people genuinely appreciate when someone tries to speak their language. They find it brave, actually.
That's so true. And I think it's worth saying again, brave. It takes courage to speak a language that isn't your first. That's something to be proud of, not embarrassed about.
100%. Okay, so let's talk about the specific fears, because I think when we name them, they become less scary. What are the most common fears you hear about, Sherry?
So, the number one fear I hear all the time is making mistakes. Learners are so scared of saying something wrong, using the wrong word or the wrong verb form, or getting the pronunciation a little off, and they worry the native speaker won't understand them at all.
Right. And that fear of not being understood is sort of separate, isn't it? It's not just about making a mistake, it's about the consequence of that mistake. What if they don't get what I'm saying? What if I have to repeat myself 3 times?
Yes, totally. And related to that is another big one, forgetting words. You know the word in your language, you know exactly what you want to say, but the English word just disappears. It's gone. And you're standing there, mid sentence, and there's this horrible blank feeling.
Ugh, that blank feeling, that is the worst. Your mind just goes quiet right when you need it most.
And I think that happens because when we're nervous, our brain goes into a kind of stress response, and stress actually makes it harder to remember things. So the more anxious you feel, the harder it is to find your words. It becomes this cycle, you know?
It's a bit of a trap, isn't it? You're nervous, so you forget words, and then because you forget words, you get more nervous.
Completely. And there's one more fear I want to mention, and this one is a little different. Some learners are scared that their accent will make people laugh, or that people won't take them seriously because of how they sound. And that fear goes really deep. It's connected to identity and pride.
Yeah, and I think that one's worth addressing directly. Your accent is part of who you are. It shows where you're from. And honestly, accents are beautiful. The goal of speaking English is to be understood, not to sound like you grew up somewhere you didn't.
Well said. Okay, so we've talked about why shyness happens and what the fears are. Now I really want to get into the practical stuff because I think our listeners want to know, okay, what do I actually do? How do I start to feel less nervous?
Yes, let's do it. Okay, so Sherry, tip number one from you.
Okay, so my first tip is start small, and I mean really small. You don't have to jump straight into a long conversation. Start with just one sentence, maybe a greeting, maybe a simple question, something you've practiced before and feel comfortable with.
Right, yeah. Small talk is actually such a great starting point. Things like, nice weather today, right? Or, excuse me, do you know what time it is? These are short, simple, and you can practice them 100 times before you ever use them in real life.
And that preparation really matters. When you have a few set phrases ready, phrases you know well, it takes away some of the uncertainty. You're not starting from zero every time. You have something to hold on to.
It's sort of like having a safety net. You know it's there if you need it, and that alone makes you feel calmer.
And I want to give listeners some of those phrases right now because I think it's really helpful. So, some good ones for beginners. Ready? Okay, so first, if you didn't understand something, you can say, sorry, can you say that again? Or even just, sorry, I didn't catch that. Both of these are totally natural, and native speakers use them all the time too, by the way.
Oh, that's such a good point. Native speakers ask people to repeat things constantly. It's not a sign of weakness at all.
Not at all. And another useful phrase, if you need a moment to think, you can say, let me think for a second, or that's a good question. These give you a little breathing room without making things awkward.
And if you forget a word, you can describe it instead. So maybe you forget the word umbrella. You could say, it's the thing you hold when it rains. And most of the time, people will understand you and maybe even help you find the word.
Yes, that's a really clever strategy, describing around the word. It keeps the conversation going even when your vocabulary lets you down. And honestly, even native speakers do this when they can't remember something.
Oh, all the time. I do it in English and it's my first language, so imagine how normal it is.
Okay, so let's talk about more tips because I have a few more I really want to share. And Nick, I know you have some thoughts too.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so one thing I always say is stop waiting to be perfect before you speak. Because that moment of I'll speak English when I'm good enough, it never comes. You only get good by actually speaking. Mistakes are not the enemy. Silence is.
Oh, I love that. Silence is. Because when you stay quiet out of fear, you miss every opportunity to practice. And every missed opportunity means the fear stays just as strong as it was before.
Right. And the thing is, every single time you speak and something goes okay, even something small, your confidence grows a little bit. It's kind of like building a wall brick by brick. You don't see the wall right away, but one day you look and think, oh, I built that.
I really like that image. And here's another tip I want to share. Shift your focus. Instead of thinking, I hope I don't make a mistake, try thinking, I hope I understand something new today, or I hope I make a connection. Change what you're aiming for.
That is such a good mindset shift because when your goal is connection rather than perfection, you naturally feel less pressure. And less pressure means your brain works better, you remember words more easily, and you actually enjoy the conversation.
And here's something I always tell learners that I think is really comforting. Native speakers have bad language days too. There are days when even fluent speakers stumble over words, or can't find the right phrase, or say something that comes out completely wrong. Language is messy for everyone sometimes.
Oh, 100%. I have full conversations in English where I finish a sentence and think, that made no sense. And English is my first language, so you are absolutely not alone in that.
And one last thing I want to say on this topic. Be kind to yourself. I mean it. Learning a language is genuinely one of the hardest things a human brain can do, and you are doing it. Every day you listen to podcasts, study vocabulary, practice phrases, that is real effort. That counts.
And progress in language learning isn't always visible. Some days it feels slow, some days it feels like nothing is changing. But underneath, things are shifting, words are sticking, patterns are forming. And one day you'll be in a conversation and you'll think, wait, I did that without even trying.
And that moment, when it comes, it is so worth it. Okay, let's do a quick recap before we wrap up, because I want to make sure our listeners walk away with something concrete today.
Yes, let's do it. Okay, so number one, it's totally normal to feel shy. You are not alone, and it does not mean your English is bad.
Number 2, start small. Use simple phrases, greetings, small talk, asking for clarification. You don't need to have a long, complicated conversation to make progress.
Number 3, if you forget a word, describe it. Keep talking. The conversation can still work even when your vocabulary doesn't.
Number 4, practice at home. Talk to yourself, record yourself, find a speaking partner. Every bit of practice counts.
And number 5, stop waiting to be perfect. Start speaking now. Mistakes are part of learning. They are not something to be ashamed of. They're actually evidence that you are trying.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Evidence that you are trying. I really love that, Nick.
Thank you. And to everyone listening, we see you. We know it's hard, and we are genuinely so proud of you for showing up and doing the work every single day.
All right, that brings us to the end of today's episode of English with Cheri. And I want to give you a little challenge before you go. This week, try to have one small English conversation. Just one. It could be ordering a coffee, asking for directions, or even just saying hello to someone. One small moment, and then notice how you feel after. I think you might be surprised.
And when you do it, we want to hear about it. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a review, share the show with a friend who's learning English, and come back next week for another episode.
And remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every fluent speaker was once exactly where you are right now. You are on the right path. Just keep going.
Take care of yourselves, be patient with yourselves, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. You've got this.